I have recently just committed for a build. My first build on this Unity project. This Unity project has come a long way from its origin. And I've come a long way from the origin of starting this project. I've actually started enjoying it a lot. Like, I'm a little addicted. And it's something I'm going to talk about as well, because I think it's so important to take time away from what you're working on in order to really remember the bigger picture and make sure you're not getting tunnel visioned on something that at the end of the day doesn't even matter. Do you know what I mean? So with my pre-alpha build here, it kind of marks a milestone as far as I've got a full game loop implemented. I have a restart mechanic, I suppose. I have a continue, like a progress further mechanic. I have some basic weapon systems, some basic UI, some basic items other than that. And like there's a basic objective in order to progress through the dungeon. While it's not the most fun right now, I will admit I think it's an incredible building block that I have right now in order to iterate further. And I think I can make it very fun with a lot of ideas that I've got that I've been kind of noting down as I go, trying to avoid losing the idea as well as trying to avoid implementing the idea, because stuff like that just hinders the code base to a point. You need to make sure that the code base is stable as fuck. And I will repeat, the code base needs to be stable as fuck. Now, I think my code base is about 80 to 85% stable. And I'm noticing it as I go, that number is honestly dropping. So what I'm planning to do, since I've gotten to this milestone, is document what I've got so far, but also I would like to start refactoring right now, because I think the refactoring is going to save me a lot of time, and it can teach me a little bit more about the inner workings of maybe how I'm supposed to use certain things with things that I need to look into. Events. I have no events in my project right now, and I know that that is causing me a lot of headaches. Two, I have a singleton, but it's not a singleton. It's not like officially a singleton. It's just a script that I never delete on an object, or it's an object that I never delete with a script. It's just the manager of the whole game. The only time it technically deletes is when I reload a scene as my restart, because like I said, about 20% of my code base right now I'm having troubles with, and it's particularly that inventory system and a few things related to that. So I think that my goals over this next week or so, however long it really takes day, I need to refactor these systems that I've got built that are the core of my game so that I can leverage them to create an excellent experience. And so that I can build upon them knowing that the foundations are rock solid and knowing that I have a place to fall back to if things go bad. So, that's all I've got for my little monologue. Maybe we should get into the game itself. We'll go through the current build. Okay, so I just built the game, and we are in. Now there are UI bugs that I'm very aware of, more of because I implemented this UI down here, these rounds, a long time ago, and they are no longer relevant to how the game even plays. I need to make them relevant still, but it has been a very low priority until I actually got the rounds functioning properly. So as you can see, we are getting absolutely mauled by the AI there. A little scary right now, and we are dead. Unfortunate. That's alright though, we can start again in a new dungeon. So here we are. So currently we're starting with no items because I think it's kind of hilarious. Because the game's not that difficult as soon as you get like a pistol. So here we go. Boom. Alright. The basic purpose of all of this stuff is to show that I've got the basic foundations of mechanics that I'm looking to implement, aka the minimum viable product, right? These are great foundations to expand upon and introduce balancing through essentially just number crunching at the end of the day. You know, these enemies have 100 health, the gun deals 100 damage. It's as simple as that. We can change it to 50, we can change it to 25. We're gonna add equipment at some point, we're gonna add some other stuff like that, etc, etc, etc. So let's take a look here. This is the dungeon end, okay? And I have the dungeon pass. So check that out. That will allow us to leave the dungeon. So check this out. If we drop the dungeon pass, okay, we will not be able to interact. And I've actually never tested that before, even though I feel like I technically have. I don't know if I've ever specifically dropped the dungeon pass after having it, but the way the inventory system works, I was confident that it was going to be no problem. So let's just drop this and show off the inventory system for a second. As you can see, here's another bug where I am inside of this item and I cannot move, but that's fine because we can pick it up and it will go to our first open inventory slot. We can drag these around, we can swap stuff around, equip, not equip, our wand here. That will allow us to place down a area of effect damage, which we will showcase on the next dungeon. So we've completed our dungeon successfully. You can see a little bit of a UI bug here with the mouse. We've been struggling with the basics here with this game. There's certain things that are giving me a little bit of help that I think in my redesign will help, and that's why it's prioritized now. But let's press next dungeon. Okay, now we could probably work on the orientation of the spawned player as well. See where the neighbor is and rotate them towards the neighbor. I think that would be good. I'm gonna write that down right now. So here's our wand area of effect. Now everybody that was going in there, getting hit by it. It's still a little buggy, as you can tell. It's spawning and despawning minimally. It is a great baseline to get started with. Now these AI are definitely getting a little stuck on these walls, it seems like. I thought this was like that A-star pathfinding bit, but I don't know if it is. Now this inventory system is really, or this gear system is really simply visual right now. As you can see, we don't have the dungeon pass, we're not going to be able to go through there. Simply visual right now, but it's going to be a great, easy thing to build off of, I think. With the rehaul, we'll build a nice equipment stats system that will affect the player's stats that don't also exist yet, but all in due time. So, sometimes, you know, this gets a little boring going through the dungeon, right? Because it's a fucking maze at the end of the day, and I'm not paying very much attention to where shit is, or where I am. Got the dungeon pass actually, so let's retreat. We don't really need, like, most of this shit, so I'm gonna leave it behind. But I am gonna get stuck on it. I really gotta fix all of that, and it looks like we're actually stuck in a wall. The movement is fucked, I gotta say. It's pretty interesting, actually, like... Oh, I just booped myself out. That was good. Alright. Like, when you go up against a wall, you just stop. So I gotta figure that out as well. It's, like, really strange. But I guess it's because I'm holding D there. But I don't know, in most games you just kind of slide around the wall, you know? You don't get stuck on it like that. Like, that's really bad. Unless we wanted to implement this as, like, a cover mechanic. Like, yo, sick, dude, look out, man. Like, takes you to the fucking... I doubt it, man. I doubt we want to. So yeah, that's our game. I need to work on lighting. So this was my first ever particle effect that I made. Learned how to make a particle effect. Pretty cool, pretty simple. Could have been a lot better, but after a few minutes in the tutorial, I got a little bored and I had some other stuff to do. So we went with this for now. I gotta figure out lighting though, because this entire place is lit, but there's very few light sources. Like, these torches are the only light source in the entire game. And for some reason, they are... You know, I don't know, it's just so bright. Eventually I think I'm going to make it so that we spawn with a flashlight. Or a torch or something. I don't know. There's a lot of ideas, fellas, like I said, there's a lot of ideas. So, thank you for your time. I need to implement these rounds back. I need to do so much stuff. But, oh my god, let's get the sword out, we're tri-bridding. Little knockback with the sword, oh, we're fucking dead. So there's our gear, there's our inventory, we did pretty well this time, fellas, we did pretty well. But unfortunately, it just was not enough. Now we are back at square one. So, cool, that's all I have to show. Thanks for being a YouTube viewer.